What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Midnight Alpha video. Hope you're all doing very well. My voice is slowly recovering. We are still fairly drugged up, but it's all good. It's all good. There were more patch notes. There were more patch notes that came down, and I was so excited looking at all the patch notes. There's a bunch of cool tier set bonuses, and then I got to the actual class and like spec changes, and I was scrolling through and I was reading and I was having just a grand old time. I was having a merry old time. I was loving it. I was reading all the changes, and then I saw this thing and oh, did you miss it? Did you see it? Let me zoom in. Let's zoom in here for a second. Quell has been moved to the AUG and Dev talent trees. What does that mean? Does that mean Prez doesn't have Quell anymore? Are they only getting rid of Quell for Prez because Prez is too strong? I was like, surely they're not getting rid of other healers' kicks, right? Because that would just be like insane. That's never happened before. And I got to the mystery of that. Oh, there it goes. Spearhand Strike is going to, well, surely the Paladin, Holy Paladin, nope, Rebuke is gone. Priest never had one anyway. Nobody cares. And then Shaman didn't lose their kick, but it's now a 30-second cooldown. So let's talk about this. This is like a massive deal, and it felt like they kind of just snuck it into the patch notes. Like it feels like they kind of just snuck it in there. But they do have a written thing on this, and I'm going to, we'll just read it like this, I guess. Sorry it's all full screen like that, but here we go. We got to read it this way. So they did talk about it. Here we go. Interrupts. At the beginning of the Midnight Alpha, we made a change to all interrupt abilities that players have, increasing their interrupt duration by 2 seconds each. This is true. Mages have like a 9-second kick now, so do Warlocks. Most people have like a 6 to 7 second kick duration. So that's really, really good, right? Awesome change there. Also, there was a crowd control change. We'll talk about that in a second. This change should make interrupt effects more effective when trying to shut down an enemy caster or have them move closer to engage in melee. Fantastic change that was made. I really loved it when they came out with this. Healing can be a stressful role when you must manage several things at once: your own healing abilities, your team's health, and the enemy actions. We feel that asking the healer to monitor the cast bars of things that they don't have targeted while properly using their interrupts was asking too much. Okay. I can see what they're going for there. In the Midnight Alpha this week, we removed access to interrupts from all healer specializations except Resto Shaman. These talents will be replaced with other talent nodes in the future Midnight Alpha build. We recognize this is a significant loss in utility, and in some circumstances, we want to make sure that the content available to the healer is completable, especially considering solo experiences like special delve boss encounters or other solo challenges. I wasn't even thinking about the delve stuff, but yeah, what about delves if I want to do it as a healer? So I guess they're going to figure that out. Resto Shamans will keep access to Wind Shear. However, for Resto, it's going to go up to a 30-second cooldown. We like healers having different capabilities, and we feel like Wind Shear is an important part of the Resto Shaman toolkit. So here's what I want to say about this. I feel like this change is a good change. Honestly, I'm completely on board with them making this change. I love interrupting enemy spell casts as a healer. I think it's as if you had cast a healing spell yourself, right? It's like casting a chain heal because you're stopping a chain lightning from going off. So that's what it feels like in my head, right? And I love having extra utility, extra agency. I loved Resto Shaman having a really low kick. All of that's going away, and I'm still in support of it because for new healers entering the game, this is an incredibly daunting experience. You walk into a Mythic Plus key, and the expectation is that you're going to heal everybody, that nobody will die ever, that you're going to use your crowd control like Cap Totem, and you're going to knock enemies up, and you're going to do your single target stun, and then you're going to kick ad nauseum on cooldown. You're going to be kicking stuff, and we're going to hope that you can do a little bit of damage as well. The stuff that is expected from a healer is way too much from a new player's perspective, and it really prevents a lot of people from even trying healing. You've been in those Mythic Plus keys where you're waiting to get a healer or like waiting to get a tank, but sometimes you're waiting for like a long time just to try and get a healer to join your key. I think Blizzard wants to try and tackle some of that, and they want to bring healing back to a place where you're actually focused on just pressing your healing buttons and keeping your allies alive. That's it. And you're still going to have some crowd control like cap totem, single target stuns, knockups, all that stuff is still there. But I think this is going to allow Blizzard to also hopefully change the encounter design. And they talk about it right here. With the removal of interrupt capabilities from healers, we're making an effort to change the behavior of enemies using spells like Shoot and Frostbolt. We want to make enemies with these spells to more evenly spread their targeting to different players in your group, which should reduce cases in which single player might die to a large spike of damage. So think of like Priory of the Sacred Flame. You pull the first pack. There's multiple guys that just shoot you. That's all they do. Sometimes they can all shoot one person, and that person will almost die. And they'll just keep shooting that one person over and over again. So they're going to try and fix that interaction. But also, the way that enemy behavior, I hope, is going to change, particularly in Mythic Plus, is that if you pull like 10 mobs at the beginning of Priory, or anywhere, let's say, you're going to have like 6 out of those 10 mobs are going to have kickable abilities that you're going to want to kick. That's the way it works right now. And when you kick those abilities, they only go off cooldown for like 2 seconds at most. Moving into Midnight, if you kick something, it's going to stay kicked for like 6 seconds, which is incredible. And I think when you go and you pull 10 or 15 mobs at the beginning of a dungeon, you're only going to have like 2 or 3 really important abilities that have to be kicked. And that's going to be on the DPS and the tank to take care of. There isn't going to be 6 or 7 kickable things anymore. It's just going to be like 2 or 3 really important things that if you don't kick, you're probably going to die. And I think that's a better design. That's what they've said they're trying to do, and I really hope that they get there. I really hope Blizzard gets there. There's a chance that they don't, but this is the direction they're trying to go. Let healers provide some utility and then primarily do healing, like 90-10 kind of thing, or 85-15. They don't have an interrupt anymore. Let the DPS do damage and interrupt. Let the tank pull all the mobs and survive, right? Those are the niches that they're trying to carve out for each different role in the game. And I think that that's a great idea for Blizzard to try and push the game in that direction more. So I'm completely on board with this. What I'm frustrated by in this post is that I feel like Blizzard knew that they were going to do this for probably the last month or two, but they didn't do it until now, and they didn't tell us they were doing it until now. And maybe they just made a last-second decision and they finally like pulled the plug and they were like, we're going to do it, but I don't think that's what happened here. Because we had the crowd control buffs come through like almost a month ago, and the kick changes came through like almost over a month ago now, where all the kicks got increased and they're way more powerful, and all the crowd control got its diminishing returns just deleted. Like, no enemy will ever get stun immune anymore. You'll always basically get some kind of value out of your crowd control, which is really, really good. But I think Blizzard did that, and then they also got rid of like the Resto Druid kick like last week, and now we're getting rid of all the kicks this week. And I'm like, it's really frustrating for the player base to only see one piece of the pie as Blizzard like reveals the whole pie. And I wish that if they knew that some of this stuff was going to be coming later on, it makes everything else make more sense, right? All the CC getting better, all the kicks getting better, and then Resto Druid suddenly gets their kick taken away, and then suddenly all these kicks are taken away. And it's like, if they had just told us when they were buffing everything, if they had told us at the same time that healers were also losing their interrupts, I think it would have been a much better balanced message to give the community. Like, listen, we're going to make everybody's ability to stop spellcasts better, except for healers, because we want healers to heal. And I would be like, okay, that makes sense. But it's like, they do these things in isolation, and we only get a small piece of the puzzle every time, and it's like just a frustrating way to receive information. But if you put everything together, all the CC changes and the interrupt changes that have happened over the past month or more, this all of a sudden makes a lot of sense. And I think that I am excited for this now in a way that, you know, I don't know. I feel like I could have been more excited if they revealed it earlier, but it doesn't matter. I think the direction they're going with the game is great. This all kind of gels together, right? The CC's better, the kicks are better, except healers don't have kicks anymore, and that allows Blizzard to design the encounters in a way that suits what is available to your party. You have really powerful kicks, but only the DPS have them and the tank. So there's like 2 or 3 important abilities that have to get kicked, and the healer can just focus on healing, and the tank can just focus on tanking. And we're not all crisscrossing and having to do 25 things all at the same time just to try and time a Mythic Plus key. I think that's what Blizzard's trying to do. They're trying to create a little bit of separation between the roles and to give them more identity, and that is a great thing for the game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is very sudden. It's very crazy, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from all of you down there. Thank you so much again for watching. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.